And today for the podcast, we got a very touted junior from a very respected high school out here in Arizona. We got Braeden Speed, the 6'3" guard out of Brophy High School. Appreciate you taking time out of your day. How you doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
Chilling. Just got off class a couple of hours ago, so just been hanging out. Appreciate you coming on like always. And first question for you: how has the off season been? How was summer for you guys and fall league as well, and then club ball?
I mean, this summer for me, it was kind of a bit of a disappointment just because I was hurt like
Mm.
most of the summer. But I mean, I played Section 7. That was pretty good for us. We were just trying to like figure out where we are as a team, just with a bunch of new guys. And then I only got to play in one of the EYBL sessions just because of injury was holding me back.
Mm. What team did you play for with EYBL?
I play with AZ Unity.
Okay. How was that for you? Because I know that team, it seems like every roster and like age I look at, it's just like absolutely stacked teams with like
Yeah.
some of the best in the state. But how was it for you?
I mean, it was good. I was competing with like the best guys in the state, just for a spot on the team. And then I mean, it sucked just because we never really got to like see our full potential because we never really clicked. Like I feel like we could have been a lot better if we all would have gotten to practice more, um, and things like that. But I mean, it could change this year for sure.
Yeah, I do want to ask you about that real quick now, knowing you played for AZ Unity. From all the like tapes I've watched on YouTube and stuff, it seems like a lot of you guys play for different clubs throughout the year. It's not just you kind of stick with one club. Like I saw like a lot of the younger guys like the House Twins and Cam, they'll play for AZ Unity, but then they'll play for like high major, which I didn't even really know about until the last couple of months. Were you
Yeah.
just with AZ Unity last year, or were you playing for a couple of other teams?
Yeah, I was just with AZ Unity.
Okay, cool. Well, I want to get into last season because you were on a very stacked team with a lot of talent, and a lot of teams I think were terrified to play you guys with the roster y'all had. So let's just kick it off. You guys finished 25-3. We're looked at as one of the best teams in the state. Not just because you're beating a lot of the teams that were competing for state titles, but you guys were competing for state titles. Unfortunately, you guys lost to a very talented Perry team. But how did you feel you guys did as a team last season?
I mean, I thought we did very well. I mean, we started out the year like a little bit slow. We only. I don't even feel like we should have lost the game, but I mean, just as a team, like we always progressed every game.
Mm-hmm.
And our coach would always tell us that it doesn't matter how good we are now; it matters how good we are at the start of playoffs, end of playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it was a really fun season for me, and I love playing with those guys. And I miss like all the seniors that we had last year that left.
Yeah, definitely. I do love how you said you started off the season slow. Your guys' first game against Westwood, you beat them 65-22. So I don't know if that's a slow start for y'all.
I mean, losing to Sunny Soap, that was like slow for us. But
yeah.
We also were missing Armand because he was hurt, and then Connor Fitzgerald, he was also hurt at the beginning of the season, so we didn't have all our guys.
Okay, yeah. I'm looking through your guys' schedule before we hopped on. A lot of big wins like that one. 51-26 against Shap. You also though played in the Hoop Hall, right? Last year.
We played St. Mary's.
What was that experience like for you guys? It was the St. Mary's here, right? With Styles and the rest of that stack team. What was that game like for you, and how do you feel you did?
I felt I played very well in that game. I think we had 6 or 7 guys in double digit scoring.
Wow.
That game. I mean, that game was just really, really fun. Like we were up for a little while, then they came back, then they were up for a little bit. And then that game really set the tone for us for the rest of the year because we had just lost to Sunny Slope. So like if we would have lost that game, it could have really like hurt like how the rest of the season was going to go.
Yeah, it says here 65-62 is the final score in that game. You guys are playing in it this year, correct?
Yeah, we play Notre Dame from California, and then we play St. Mary's again the next day.
Oh, what day is this the Notre Dame game? Because I might need to pop out to that.
That's Thursday. I don't know the date though.
Okay, I think because it's the beginning of December, right? I might need to skip my Thursday night class and come and check it out because that'll be a really good game. Of course, you and Armand are going to pop off, but I know Notre Dame's a very talented team with the top recruits. They got like Caleb and Dusty. What was the biggest achievement you guys felt like you accomplished last year? Like you said, 25-3, 8-1 in your region. It was a tough loss in, I don't even know, was it double overtime against Perry in the semi, or
I think it was triple overtime.
was it triple?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was 40. That's a low scoring game for a triple overtime game. I don't want to bring up a lot of pain, but what was the biggest accomplishment you guys felt like you did as a team, even though you came up short in the end goal?
I'd have to say going undefeated in our region, because that was, I would say, and I think a lot of people would say that we're in the toughest region with Perry, Basha, Hamilton,
Yeah,
and Chandler.
yeah, definitely. You guys, yeah, you're in a very talented division. I know Basha is probably going to try to shake some heads with, I know they got Mason, who's the top rated freshman in the state, and all the other guys like Torn and other guys they got. What things have you focused on most this off season? Have you been doing a lot of like one-on-one training with personal guys? Are you just doing it with your school and club coaches? What's been the training regimen for you this summer?
I mean, I've been one-on-one training with Hank Hibbler. And then I would just go into Brophy a lot, get a lot of shooting in, working out. And then I also work with a physical trainer just to like build my legs and get a better vertical.
Yeah. I do want to ask you about Brophy real quick too. I told you before, I'm originally from Canada, and one of my buddies, I will never forget this, before I left, said, whatever you do, don't go to Brophy. It's a sausage fest. And, I know you guys kind of have like, you have the reputation that you're stacked at sports, because it seems like a lot of the top athletes just in the state come to Brophy because it is such a good school. You're going into your junior year. What were the first 2 years of being at Brophy like for you personally?
I mean, the first year it was just kind of weird because of COVID and everything. And like originally I didn't even want to go to Brophy because I live in Ahwatukee, so it's really far from me.
Yeah, that's a far drive.
Yeah, and then my sophomore year, like Brophy's just like, it's such a fun school just because everyone's like cool with each other. Like there's no beef between like anybody. And like just my sophomore year made me really, really want to stay there. And then the basketball team, this past year is probably the most fun I've had playing basketball in my life.
Yeah, definitely. You talked about some things you focused on. So let's get to this. You're 6'3". You're going to be taking over a lot larger role now with Trey and Pat, which we'll talk about in a little bit. They're going to be gone, of course, since they graduated. What can we expect to see from Braeden Speed this upcoming season?
Definitely I'm gonna have a bigger leadership role. Just because we have a lot of younger guys. It's a much younger team, and we've really only had, I mean, we've had guys that have been on varsity, but we've really only had 3 guys that have played good minutes on varsity. So that's just going to be a big step in practice and in games. And then definitely just I'm going to be working harder in every position, just because the guys that we had last year were definitely it's not that they're better. It's just that like I'm playing with guys that I've played with already the year before. The chemistry's there, and they're a lot older, so they know a lot more.
Yeah, definitely. They have a little bit more veteran experience to know what to do under pressure and stuff like that. Are you going to be the lead guard, more controlling the offense? Is that going to be Armand, or what's going to be the system like this year?
I think, yeah, I'll be playing lead guard, and then we also have a freshman, Dalen Sharper. He'll also be helping out with that. But we really have, I mean, we have everybody that could bring it up because we don't really have a big this year. We have all guards pretty much.
It's gonna be a fast system, probably. If you got no bigs, it's gonna be quick, and explosive. What was the culture like last year? You know, you talked about a team that was stacked, a lot of big wins, a lot of tough wins against tough competition, being in the region you are. What was the culture like throughout the entire team last year?
I mean, we definitely we loved being around each other. Like we would hang out outside of school. After practice, we would go eat together. Like it was a tight community just
Yeah.
with the team.
Um, would you say Perry is your biggest rival? I know I got a question later for who you're most looking forward to, and I feel like I kind of know, but I want you to take us through those two games against Perry. You guys beat them, I believe, one time, right, during the regular season.
We beat
And
them
then,
two times in the regular season by
oh, was it twice?
yeah, we beat them by 20 twice.
Okay, yeah. So you got 56-39 on January 14th, and then 61-46. Those are big wins, double-digit wins against a team, you know, that has nationally ranked prospects with Dylan at U of A now, and then Cody, who skyrocketed this offseason, and Koa being him. What were the feelings? What was the energy around you guys and the coaching staff and the school leading up to those two games in the regular season in particular?
I mean, those two games, I feel like the first one, most people didn't think we were gonna come out and win that. Just because Perry's Perry with all the bigs they have. I feel like in the first two games we out physicaled them, we played harder, and our defense was really in and we were hitting shots. And then in that last game, I feel like we tensed up a lot. Just because there was a lot of people. And it was a big playoff game. But I definitely feel that we still should have won that game. But I mean, it happens. Yeah.
I was looking at your kind of mixtape, your season highlights that Brophy had posted, and you got a lot of recognition last year. They showed all your awards at the end, and I don't want to like hype you up a little bit more, but 2021-22 all 6A conference second team, premier region defensive player of the year, all 6A conference second team, all Arizona sophomore team, 6A conference defensive player of the year, Mesa basketball challenge breakout player of the tournament, 47th annual Father Barry Classic all tournament team. I mean, the list goes on and on. But those two awards I want to talk about in particular is the defensive player of the year. You were a younger player last year. I guess, like you could say, on the totem pole, a little bit under with guys like Armand Patch, right? And even the rest of the seniors as an underclassman. What made you so prideful of how you played defense to get that recognition?
I mean, I've always been prideful in my defense. I was only on. I think I was only on varsity my freshman year because of how I played defense, and just like I don't like people scoring on me. I mean,
it's a good answer.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to give a big shout out to Brad Cornett also. He really helped me out from he coached me from 5th to my freshman year. He really helped me out on that defensive side of the ball.
What is one word you would say best describes how you play?
Tough, for sure.
I would love to hear you elaborate on. I know you just talk about like you don't like people scoring, and that's why you're such a good defender. But what makes how you play tough?
I mean, the way I get to the rim, definitely the defense I play. I like to get into guys. It's just like it's kind of a mindset. I get a lot of rebounds as well. I had a 10 rebound game at some point this year, and as a guard with all the bigs that we had and the bigger players, that's kind of hard to do. And that's also just kind of what I've been known for at Brophy my freshman year and this past year.
Yeah, you come in at 6'3". In the tape, I was able that season highlight. Like I told you before we started recording, it seems like you're a knockdown shooter from the three. I saw your percentages, and they were really solid. But like those clips, I mean, it seemed like every single time you were open at either the top of the key or the corner, you were knocking it down, regardless if someone was in front of you or not. How did you become such a good shooter so young?
I mean, I was never a good shooter until really this past year. I shot 44%, I think, from three.
Mm-hmm.
I know my freshman year, I actually didn't make a single three. I was 0 for 4. And then just that after that year, I really decided that I need to put a lot of work into that. So I built my confidence. I would go watch film on guys shooting, and then I would go outside and just kind of practice smoothing out my shot because I used to have a hitch when I would shoot.
So you talked about you'd be able to watch film. Who would you watch during then? And if there's anybody you try to play like, who would it be like?
I mean, the film I would watch was Tyler Hero. I'd watch just how smooth his jump shot was and just like try to model how I would shoot off of that. But to be honest, I don't really know like who I could say I play like right now, like at this point.
It's a fair answer. You're only a junior.
Yeah.
So is there anybody that you though then enjoy watching? And a lot of guys I've had on, they talk about like Tatum, Luca, CP. Is there anybody you at least enjoy watching?
And definitely LeBron. It's my favorite player.
Oh.
Luca, I love watching him. I love watching Clay and Curry, just how they get off the screens and how they move.
Mm-hmm.
And then who's another guy? There's one more guy that I really like to watch. Giannis. I love watching Giannis.
Yeah. He's definitely a lot of fun. Before I get into my last couple questions for you, I just want to ask about like some personal goals you have, and then like goals you've set as a team. I know this upcoming year, it's going to be a bit different. You're still going to be a very talented team, but you talk about like a lot of younger guys, unexperienced. I know it's going to be you and Armand and a couple of others that are going to be taking the mantle. But what are some personal goals you have set for yourself this upcoming season?
I mean, I want to win Defensive Player of the Year again, for sure. I want to try win state, obviously. I want to be first team all conference too, for 6A, and then probably just improve my scoring and how I get to the rim, work on my left hand, things like that.
So team goals you talked about, you want to try and win state. Is there anybody you want to definitely beat this year? We'll talk about your region and your conference in a second as well. But is there anybody, or sorry, team goals that you have set that like you want to beat this year?
I mean, we haven't yet, but we go on a retreat together, and that's when we normally set the goals there.
Oh, dope.
I'd assume it'd just be a lot of defensive oriented stuff, playing tough, and then I mean, yeah, like I can't really say right now just because I don't know, because we haven't really practiced like super hard yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I'd love though to hear about a little bit of last season. The question I have for you is just about what you were able to learn from guys like Pat and Trey that helped you last year. Of course, you're only a sophomore last year. It's now heading into this junior year, more of your prime years of high school ball. What influence have they had on you? And did anything either of them say stick with you?
I mean, I'd say of the seniors last year, Pat and Miles Nash were definitely the two that they influenced me the most because I was always around them. They'd always like just teach me. They'd be teaching me things during practice, just during the game. And Miles, like, he plays off 2 feet all the time, and our coach always he's always honest about that. And I feel like I've just gotten a lot better doing that just by watching him, not even by him like teaching me. And then Pat, just like how good of a leader he was. It really he led by example.
Mm. You talked about you're in a tough division, Mountain Point. St. Mary's is in it too, right?
No, it's Basha, Perry, Chandler, and Hamilton.
Yeah. Okay. That's a tough ass division with a lot of talent with all teams. What did you learn from yourself, especially in those games against them last year?
I mean, the games against Hamilton were definitely harder just because of the way they play defense. They play a zone, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like it takes you got to be really patient just to score on it. And then Perry definitely just I learned about myself how tough I can be with those bigger guys.
Yeah.
Um, Chandler wasn't that good, but Basha, they definitely our first time playing them, we were beating them by a lot. Then they'd come back, and that taught us as a team just to like to never let up, just always keep going.
Mm-hmm. Is so out of all the teams in that division and even in your conference too that you're going to play this year, who are you most looking forward to playing against?
Perry for sure, and then also Sunny Slope. I mean, I've never beat them. I've wanted to beat them. We had a big game with them last year, and then we lost them in the playoffs my freshman year.
And they're two key guys, are gone now in Oakland and Elijah. So I don't know necessarily who's on that team. Are they still going to be competitive? Is it going to be more of a down year? What's kind of the feel for Sunny Slope?
They'll definitely still be solid. I mean, they have some freshmen that came in that are pretty good. They got a transfer that's pretty good. Jai Bearden or
Oh
Jay
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bearden. Ryder Portillo is pretty good. But I mean, it's not that like they're super good. It's just that I've never beat them. And I mean they beat me 3 times now. And I want to get a win up there on the board.
Yeah, you definitely can't let it slide. Well, Braeden, I appreciate you coming on. Couple more questions for you. I don't know how close you are to any of these guys, but being able to see guys like Jalen Williams, Dallin, Margin, Ty all make it to the league this year. And a lot of them played in the AIA system out here in Arizona before going to D1. Seeing those guys make it to the league, did it instill any confidence in you being able to see that like you can make it out of just Arizona basketball?
I mean, yeah, it definitely did. It was really cool to see those guys go so high. I've talked to Ty and Dalen before. Um, I mean, it was really cool just to see them go so high, and it's not like a confidence thing that instilled into me. It's just like it's really good to see that for Arizona basketball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one more question about just Arizona basketball as a whole. A lot of transfers happen to prep schools. I know like True and Mark both went prep. And there's been a lot of people, like you said, Jai going to Sunny Slope, but then a couple people transferring to other AIAs, and then a lot of prep school basketball as well. What do you feel like the difference is for you between AIA? I know you haven't played prep, but how do you feel about where AIA is compared to prep basketball in Arizona?
Um, I mean, Compass is obviously they're obviously above
Yeah.
everybody else, but I think there are definitely a few teams in AIA like that are still really good, like us, Perry, Basha. I mean, there's still a lot of really good teams that are in the AIA.
Yeah. All right. Well, my last question for you, like I pop it off, like I end it with everybody. Brophy's a Nike school. So I know the shoe game this year is gonna be crazy for you guys, I'm sure, with a little bit of heat here and there. What is your favorite on-court shoe to wear? I saw though on your Instagram, I'm gonna say something that I appreciate about you. You're one of the only guys I see that wears the Converse basketball shoe, and I think those shits are so sick. But
They're dope.
what are some of your favorite on court shoes? What can we expect to see on feet this upcoming year?
Uh, GT cuts are probably the most comfortable shoes, and I like those the best. I have one pair of those. And then those Converse, they're super grippy. But I sprained my ankle in them, so I don't know how much I'm gonna be wearing those. But I have some Kyries and KDs, and I like those a lot too.
Yeah. One last question I forgot to ask you just about this upcoming year. Armand just committed to NAU yesterday, which is a big accomplishment for him. How excited are you for him? Can you tell us about any like things that stick out about him that you appreciate and are excited to play with this upcoming year?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy for him. That's big for him. He's a really good scorer. He also he's really good at seeing the floor for a 6'6" guy. But I mean, he's just like, he's a good teammate. I love hanging out with him. And super excited for him.
Well, Braeden, I appreciate you hopping on the podcast and talking for a bit. Anything you got to shout out before we get out of here?
Shout out Brophy.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, man. Wish you nothing but the best of luck. Excited to come and watch you play in a couple of months, and I'm sure we'll be in touch throughout the year. So good luck, man.
Thank you for having me.